Well, I haven't found out everything about the bus, but doing a little research, I did find out that he was in Idaho. And I got to thinking, you know, kind of a potato body anyway. I started calling him Spud. Spud the Bus. What do y'all think? Say hello, Spud. Hello internet family, Dr. Ross here. Welcome back to the channel. And welcome to another soggy day in the Pacific Northwest. But we're still having fun. Speaking of fun, the bus is running, and so we get to start doing a few little things to it to get it ready to take it out on the road. I've gone and done my first upgrade. Check out that cherry tailpipe. You may be asking yourself, why? Well, if you have to ask why, you may be new to Dr. Ross's channel, where our motto is fully functional and completely unnecessary. I've been really wanting to take the carburetor off the bus and get it cleaned up and see if I can get it to idle. We got it running and everything, but kind of hesitate to take it out on the road. If it won't idle, it just keeps dying. And I'm pretty sure that carburetor must be gummed up. So we're going to take it off, do a little cleaning, go through it a little bit, and get it back on here and see if we can get the thing to idle right and set the timing. Jeez. Okay. And let's see. Choke on and how did you get the nickname the Doctor, Ross? Well, story goes like this. I was relatively new at a job. I had gotten a job and I was fairly new, but one of the things I excelled at was being able to fix stuff on the fly. And it wasn't very long before my coworkers started coming to get me and saying, "Can you fix this?" And a reputation of being the doctor. And it just kind of stuck. If something got really screwed up, they'd say, "Let's get Dr. Ross." Well, I probably promoted it a little bit. Pretty flattering, I guess. People think you can fix stuff. If you can't be good looking, then... And I can't dance. At least I can fix things. Fake it till you make it. That's what I always say. It's not that bad. Got some gunk in it. I didn't know what I expected, but obviously the worst case was all that sludge to have made it up here, which it doesn't seem to have. Probably just all the jets are clogged up and need to be cleaned out. Here's the instruction sheet. It's very important. You can use that to dab up all the spilt fuel. Don't use anything too hard here, like a large gasket scraper, because this can scratch pretty easy. Gouge, if you will. I'm not trying to gouge it. I don't know if you can see. This is the spot where the float would get worn out, where it's touching, and it looks pretty good. Just a little shiny mark there. You can see where it touches. The problem being produced by the modal interaction of magnetoreluctance and capacitive reactance. The base plate is of prefamulated amylite, surmounted by a malleable logarithmic casing, which in such a way the two spurthing bearings are in direct line with the pentametric fam. The main winding is of the normal Lotus O delta type, placed in panendermic semi-boloid slots of the stator, every seventh conductor being connected with a non-reversible Tremy pipe to the differential girdle spring on the up end of the gram meter. Whenever fluorescent score motion is required, it may also be employed in conjunction with a drawn reciprocation dingle arm to reduce sinusoidal depleneration. Anywho, let's give it a try. Optional parts. Let's get rid of that. There you go. All set. Going through the fuel filters here, but I got as much of that gunk I could out of the tank. And it's just in the lines now, and evidently some still in the bottom of the tank right by the outlet. So I'm just going to keep trying to pull it through if I can and filter it out. We'll see how that goes. Eventually I will have to pull the tank. Alright, I've got it all put back together, and we're going to see if we can get it going now. Hopefully it'll start and run and just idle. It'll take a minute to get the fuel back up in there to the bowl. Gonna have to crank on it a little bit and try pulling it through this filter. Well, I've just been back and forth with the idle mixture and the idle setting and the timing and the smoke alarm in between, back and forth. Finally got it down to it's still a little high, like 1,000 RPM. Should be able to get it down to 700 or something. But at least it will sit here and tick away. It's really fuel starved too. I've got to probably replace those lines again. They're all filling up with that sludge. The process. It'd be kind of fun to take it out on the highway and try to blow some of that out of there, but just as likely I'd get stuck. Do you have a nut that you can't get your fingers on? How will you hold your nut? Get you a piece of blue tape. Put that nut right there. Then you can slip it behind wherever you want to go. Now, I got a place to hang my raincoat. Well, it's pretty clear that I'm going to have to do something about these floors. I've come up with a temporary solution. It'll get me by for a little while, so I can get it out on the road without my feet going through the floor. I've been struggling with what to do with the finish on this bus. Yes, the struggle bus, if you will. So we've got this blue paint job on top of the original red, and it just is really bad. So I was thinking, what can we do to make it look better? Well, I tried to pressure wash it off, first of all, and you can see that it exposed the red original in some places, and then in other places a weird kind of white. What was going on here? And so pressure washing it does take some of the chunks off, but it's not all coming off. So what can we do to make this thing a little more legit and come up with some sort of patina? One of the things, if you surf around enough what to do with old paint, you'll come up with the linseed oil suggestion. Boiled linseed oil. Now, that is for when you have exposed metal and you want to preserve the patina. What's originally made for is bare wood. Bare wood like a gun stock, and even bare metal, like an old shovel or an old wheelbarrow. That'd be great to make that look good. Oil up your old bare metal. But for patina restoration, you got to use it sparingly. If you ever saw somebody put boiled linseed oil on a full coat of paint, I guarantee you he ended up sorry. But when you have areas where you have exposed metal on a really old patina type vehicle, then you can use the linseed oil on the exposed metal and rust part, and that looks good. Another idea is the color sand. Once I saw somebody do a faux finish on a truck to make it look like an original patina. So they took this old truck and they painted it twice. Once with a red underneath that looked like the primer, and then again with a baby blue. And then when they color sanded it, they purposely color sanded through the top coat to expose the underneath color. And it gave the effect of an antique patina, kind of a fake version of it. So I thought, what a good idea. So let's see. I'm going to start color sanding and we'll see how it turns out. One thing you really need for wet sanding is you want it to be wet. So today might be a good day to do wet sanding. Boy, the GoPro really doesn't like this wet weather. Trying to film, but lens gets wet and all you guys can see is like you're looking through a fishbowl. And I'm working it down and it's easy to go too far. I got to be really careful because I've already burned through on some of the high points. But I think I'm going to be able to get a little better look out of it. It's just a lot of muscle work. So I'll stay after it and get you back for an update. All right, well, that's gonna have to dry before we can tell if it polished up any. So let's check back in July. Well, Spud was idling quite poorly and struggling and coughing and sputtering. I just said, you know, you've got to fix this yourself. I kept encouraging it. Pretty soon the idle just kind of smoothed out. I did a little cleaning on the inside and just kept talking him through it. Maybe the technical answer is that the idle jets were needing to get freed up, but there's nothing wrong with encouraging your automobile and being firm with it as the case may warrant. So Spud's starting to get a little bit of a personality, I guess, but he sounds like he's purring now. I wanted to quickly show you what the results were from the wet sanding. I was out here in the rain and that was no fun at all, but when it dried out, I could see I still had more to go. So what's going on here is I've done wet sanded this with 3000 grit and starting to come up with a little shine. I'm going to try to make sure you can see it in the camera. This is an untreated area. Versus the area that I did wet sand and polish. And so I haven't quite got the patina that I was thinking I would get, but I do like the result with a little bit of clean shine sitting on there versus this dead dull look. This is gonna take me a long time. It's gonna be a commitment for hours and hours of wet sanding, but if this was a result all over, I don't know. I think I would kind of like that. Starting to get a little personality, don't you think? One requirement for wets. One requirement. Hello. Microwave when your microfiber towel is when your microfiber rag